Hi everyone. Today we're going to do our next topic lesson on Grace Darling, but we're moving slightly away from Grace Darling towards something that is associated with her. Now, after Grace Darling had done her fantastic rescue, a man called Sir William Hillary, and there's a picture of him just here, he was getting very worried. And if you can see this speech bubble here, he was worried because he said there are 1,800 shipwrecks a year around the UK. We need to do something about it because so many people were losing their lives at sea. So he decided to found the RNLI. Now, the Royal National Lifeboat Institution was founded by him in 1824. And he decided to create ships which were specifically lifeboats, and there hadn't really been any before. People would just go out in their normal clothes, in their fishing boats or their rowing boats. And down here on the bottom right, we can see a model of one of the first lifeboats. And this boat looks a bit like Grace Darling's boat, but of course it needed to be a bit bigger. Because if you remember, when she rescued those people from the rocks, she had to go back a couple of times to get all of the survivors. Now, this boat here can carry up to 20 people, but it still doesn't look very safe, does it? So at the time, that's the best lifeboat that they could come up with. Now, of course, nowadays, across the United Kingdom and Ireland, there are over 400 lifeboats waiting for the call to rescue, and they are all powered by our brave volunteers. Now, if you remember last week, we talked about volunteers, and you might have designed a volunteer poster for the RNLI. A volunteer is somebody who gives their spare time free of charge, it's not their job, in order to man the lifeboats to save lives and rescue people. Now, the lifeboats have since then have saved countless lives since the founding of their founding. And now they have a great number of different style lifeboats. They have really large all-weather boats, and they have some smaller inshore vessels. And they're all designed to be especially good at saving people. And every time they keep trying to invent new ways of making it better and better, and they might have changed their design over the years to add in better and better safety elements. So let's have a look at these boats. So here, down here, we've got the inshore boats, the smaller ones, and here we have the all-weather boats. Now, the all-weather boats, as you can see, are a lot bigger, and they're the ones that can go out to sea. And the little ones down here are more like dinghies, and they can easily get between rocks. If somebody was going for a walk along the beach and exploring in one of the caves, and then suddenly the tide came in, for example, and they were stuck, stranded in the cave, then one of those little inshore boats could easily get right up to the rock, maybe in the shallow water, to rescue them from there. Now, these all-weather boats, excuse me, are all named after different rivers in the United Kingdom. And this all-weather boat here is called the Tamar. That's a river in the United Kingdom. So what I'm going to do now is play a couple of little videos just telling us all about those different lifeboats. So I'll just share a video screen with you here. Just bear with me a moment. Here we go. Okay, so that was quite interesting. I really liked the special lifeboat that they designed for working on the River Thames. They changed the shape of it, didn't they? So there's a different kind for each situation. Now we're going to have a look at a video now of the all-weather boats, which were the much bigger ones. See if I can just share that with you. Bear with me a moment. I switch all my tabs over. Here we go. Okay. So these are the all-weather boats. Wow. Well, I have to say, I did love how one of those lifeboats can just come straight up onto the beach. That was quite exciting. And the other lifeboat, which can be capsized in the sea and in the rough weather, and then it can just upright itself again. That's pretty exciting. And also the lifeboat, the bigger lifeboat, which had its own mini lifeboat on it. Wow. So, of course, when you go out to rescue people, you don't just need an amazing lifeboat to keep you safe and to rescue other people. You also need, what do you think? Well, I'll tell you. Back when Grace Darling did her rescue, like actual lifeguards at the time, they just wore their normal clothes. So it was a very dangerous situation for them as well. And if you look at this photograph here on the left, the black and white picture, this is a man who decided to build a life jacket out of cork. Now, cork comes from a bark of a tree, and if you put a bit of cork in some water, you'll notice it floats. So this man, he thought that would be really good to have something around you to keep you afloat in the water. And so this jacket, the life jacket that he's wearing, he made that himself. He invented it, designed it, and he wore it during a rescue. Now, very sadly, during that rescue, lots of his colleagues that he went out in the boat with to rescue others, they lost their lives and he didn't. And they think it was because he was wearing this life jacket. And so after that, they'd started to think, hang on a minute, we need to have something for these people, these volunteers to wear to kind of try and do anything to save their lives as well, because they're putting themselves in a lot of danger. And so now, if we have a look at the picture on the right, what this lady's wearing, look at the difference, how it's been designed over the years. And look at what she's wearing now. She's got an all-in-one suit, which I think has got built-in boots, or she's wearing big, thick Wellington boots underneath it. And she's got a life jacket, which is harnessed all around her body, and a helmet. And I think she's got some other things attached to it, maybe an emergency whistle or a torch or something. Right. So now I'm going to tell you about one of the most amazing rescues in the history of the RNLI. And it's called the rescue of the SS Suvik. Now these are pictures of the Suvik as it was shipwrecked off the coast of Cornwall. So in this picture at the top left here, we can see a full picture of the ship, and now you can see it getting closer and closer to these dangerous rocks. And this is what's happened to it when they towed the boat away afterwards. Look at the back of the boat there, it's completely ripped off. So that shows you what a terrible disaster it was. But it has a happy ending. So I'm going to show you another video clip now, just a short one this time, of that rescue. Here we go. Computer's taking a bit of time to switch. Here we go. So there we go. Let me just get my screen back to our flip chart. So that was incredible, wasn't it? A really incredible rescue story. And just like Grace Darling, lots of the rescuers were given medals for their bravery, and they were rescuing people for 16 hours. That is an incredible length of time. They must have been exhausted. So I'm just going to read you a little bit about it here. Shortly after 10:30 at night, so it would have been dark, during a vicious storm off the Cornish coast in March 1907, over 100 years ago, the thick fog covering the Lizard Peninsula was briefly pierced by the red glow of a distress rocket. The flare, accompanied by an eerie sound of a ship's horn rising above the howling gale, was spotted by villagers in the fishing communities on the famously treacherous rocky outcrop. The 524 passengers and crew crowded on board the stricken SS Suvik did not yet know it, but the largest and perhaps the greatest forgotten rescue in the 183-year history of the RNLI had begun. During the ensuing 16 hours, the 60 crewmen of 4 wooden lifeboats stationed around the Lizard made multiple journeys in the dense fog and towering seas to bring to safety 456 men, women and children on board the stricken liner, and incredibly not a single life was lost. How amazing and how brave of those people. Now, on the RNLI website, they have got a brilliant video showing you all of the amazing types of rescue that they have done over the years. And they're not just rescuing people, sometimes they're rescuing other animals too from the sea. I'm not going to play the video now because it's about 10 to 15 minutes long, but I'm going to put the link up on Dojo so you can watch it because it's quite an interesting and exciting video to watch. So now we're going to go on to our task for the lesson. I would like you to design a lifeboat for the RNLI. And because they call their boats after different rivers in the UK, we thought as a river near to us is the River Avon, we could call the that we're going to design the Avon. So you could put that on the side of your drawing. Now remember, if you have a look at those videos again, you will see lots of different things they might have. Some of them had special seats, special safety seats. There were lots of computer equipment on board. Some of them had their separate little lifeboat that came off the side of it. The River Thames boat was a sort of much flatter one, wasn't it? Different shape altogether. So you can have a really good think about all the different safety things that you could have on board your lifeboat that might make it safer or easier to rescue people. So have a lot of fun drawing and thinking about your lifeboat. Maybe you could write a few sentences underneath telling us all about the features, or you could do a label drawing. And I really look forward to seeing those on Dojo soon. Bye-bye.